Hello there. Welcome to my show, COVID-19 Update by Heerak. California, we got a party. City. Well, California is #1 today, and you will see why a little later on. Today is World Whistleblower Day.
A state that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track is your eardrum like a slug to your chest. Like a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. We in that sunshine state where the bomb ass history. The state where you never find a dance floor empty and filthy. On the mission for them freeze. Bling bing, money making machines serving things. I've been in the game for 10 years making rap tunes. Ever since Honey was wearing Sassoon, now it's 95.
Yeah, I support whistleblowers. I'm a whistleblower because what do? I want government to be transparent. I'm Heerak Christian Kim, independent candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District, Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and Fairfax County. And I am the anti-corruption candidate for U.S. Congress. I blow my whistle to make the government transparent. And those of you who have seen this show know I blow my whistle to make the government transparent, and I am transparent. You know what I stand for. I'm trying to bring America back to God, as you know. And I have made campaign promise to you, my voters who are watching me now. You vote me into U.S. Congress. The very first thing I do is get the posse together in U.S. Congress to illegalize LGBTQ. That's right, LGBTQ. My campaign promise is to stand with the Word of God, Romans chapter 1, and illegalize gay marriage at the legislative level. Campaign promise number 2, I will get my U.S. Congress posse together to illegalize abortion, baby killing, as I say it, as the Pope Pontifex Maximus says as well. Happy Whistleblower Day! May you become a whistleblower like me, Heerak Christian Kim, for U.S. Congress, independent candidate for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District. Today is a California day, and you'll see why. A lot of corrupt politicians in California. They need transparency over there. Vote for Heerak Christian Kim on November 3rd, 2020 at the general election. Vote me into U.S. Congress. to end corruption. Yeah. So I'm the anti-corruption candidate for U.S. Congress, and I am a whistleblower, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be a whistleblower. Yeah. So happy Whistleblower Day. Yes, today, June 23rd, is a Whistleblower Day. And whistleblowers like me try to fight corruption in US Congress, try to fight corruption in Virginia politics, bring new transparency. I tell you exactly what I'm going to do when you vote me in, and that's what I will be doing. Number three, I will be bringing equitable education system throughout the United States of America, using and working with community partnerships like African American churches, Hispanic churches, Korean churches, Vietnamese churches, Catholic churches, Protestant churches. I'll be working with community partners to bring equity in society. Yeah, in education and healthcare. So vote me in for a better society. Vote me in for better Virginia 8th District. Vote me in for better US Congress. Yeah, I am the anti-corruption whistleblower transparency candidate, Heerak Christian Kim. I have bad news for you. Yes, the death toll is now up again around 1,000. 824 people died in the last 24 hours. And the death rate yesterday was 120,393. Today, the death rate is at 121,217. Confirmed cases are going up a little bit higher than 30,000 cases because we have record-breaking confirmed cases these days. Have you been following the news? Well, I am here to let you know what's happening in America. Yeah, so stay tuned. So yesterday we had 2,310,798 cases. 24 hours later, we have 2,345,854 cases. Look at the United States. Texas is number 5, and they are headed to the numbers above it, the other states. Let's just kind of go down the top 5 roster there of COVID-19 cases in the United States. New York is number 1 at 389,085. Their death rate is at 31,232, and 8% of the confirmed cases ended up in death. Now that New York opened up again, you're going to see more coronavirus cases and more deaths. That's coming. California is number 2 at 190,395. Their death rate is at 5,619. So 3% of the confirmed cases are ending up in death. New Jersey is number 3 at 169,734. New Jersey used to be number 2, but because of the high new cases in California, and that's why we play the song California Knows How to Party, COVID party. I guess there's a little irony or sarcasm in there, but hey, those COVID-19 viruses, they know how to party, Their version of party isn't our version of party, but they're partying it up in California. Yeah. New Jersey, 169,734 cases. Death is at 13,025. 8% are dying, so similar to New York. Illinois is 137,825 cases, number 4. And the death rate is at 6,707. So 5% are dying. So that's similar to the national average rate. Texas has the lowest percentage of death among the confirmed cases, 122,932 cases, ending with 2,236 deaths. But the death rate is going up. Hospitalizations are going up. It's very messy. As you know, I am running for U.S. Congress in Virginia's 8th District as an independent candidate. I'm not a Republican running as a Republican. I'm not running as a Democrat. I'm running as an independent. And my platform is to bring America back to God. And as I've explained to you before, I formed the Back to God Committee in Virginia's 8th District, which is Arlington, Alexandria, Falls Church, and Fairfax County. And there are many of you who have decided to vote for me, and I thank you for that. And make sure you get to the voting booth on November 3rd, 2020 and vote for me. Don't forget. Yeah, today was actually a primaries election day in Virginia. Yeah, so, but it's like a little mini vote day because it's primaries. But yeah, general election is on November 3rd, 2020. That's when you vote for me. As you know, my official position is against gay marriage. So one of my campaign promises is that if you vote for me and vote me into U.S. Congress, the very first thing I'm going to do is organize and work with U.S. congressmen in both parties and also independents and try to illegalize homosexuality and gay marriage, and then make that a national federal law, and then have the police arrest homosexuals, and then the U.S. legislative branch, the court system, would deliver death penalty. And so we're going to bring America back to God, purify this land with the Holy Spirit, and purify this land that's been corrupted by homosexuality, and which Bible obviously condemns. We see in Romans chapter 1, Bible condemns homosexuality as evil. And throughout the Bible condemns homosexuality as something that must be destroyed in society because it corrupts the society and corrupts the church. And that's what's been happening in America, as you know. So I'm the candidate who's going to bring America back to God by just following the rules and regulations of the Holy Bible, because the Holy Bible is righteous. And so we will end LGBTQ in America. So yeah, I'm a man of action. I'm a man of transparency. I'm not just going to talk about it. I'll do it. So vote for me in November 3rd, 2020, and let's end LGBTQ in America once and for all. So that's my campaign promise. And abortion, a lot of people have been talking about it. There have been a lot of marches, but we need action. We need to illegalize abortion. And I am the candidate to do it. You vote for me, vote me in on November 3rd. That's my second agenda item, illegalize abortion. I'll get a posse together, a group of U.S. congressmen who will come to see that that's the best course of action for America, and then we'll get it through. That is why you should vote for me. I'm an independent candidate for U.S. Congress. I'm running against Don Beyer, who I call the fake politician, Mr. Fake. Don Beyer, Mr. Fake. You know, yeah, I mean, he's a salesman. You know, he sells cars, and you know how that is, right? So it's self-explanatory. I don't have to like go into it. So I'm just going to call Mr. Beyer, Don Beyer, Don Beyer, the Fake, Mr. Fake. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just so much cooler than Don Beyer. So you should vote for me just because of my cool content. But more important than that is the fact that I'm actually going to get stuff done, not like Don Beyer. He's been in office, for 6 years? He got nothing done. All he has done is drove around his Beyer Volvo around Alexandria, you know, sip champagne and caviar, eat caviar with the rich. That's basically all he's been doing for the last 6 years. You know, he has really done nothing. Oh yeah, he likes to dope, I guess, you know. So he's been fighting to legalize marijuana. So yeah, he's Mr. Fake. I mean, he's Mr. Fake because he doesn't do anything for United States. He doesn't do anything for Virginia. He's just like, you know, he's a Democrat and he's a millionaire and he feels like he's entitled to his position as a U.S. congressman. And I'm just here to rock the boat. Yeah, I am the anti-corruption guy. I am here to bring transparency to U.S. Congress. Yeah, I mean your money, tax money, is going in there, and it's like big black hole. It like gets lost, sucked into U.S. Congress, and you never get to see it again. So I'm going to go to U.S. Congress and make sure that we spend the money for American citizens. Yes, U.S. citizens. So I am the whistleblower candidate. So that's why we're celebrating World's Whistleblower Day today. Whistleblower Day, Whistleblower Day, Whistleblower Day. Yeah. So that's my rendition of Whistleblower Day. So I stand against fake news, obviously. Fake news is bad. Heerak news is good. 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 Come join me. Fake news is bad. Heerak news is good. Fake news is bad. Heerak news is good. Yeah, so I'm glad that you are checking in today to COVID-19 Update by Heerak Show. Welcome to my show. It's a daily show. And I created this show to help you survive COVID-19 and everything else that happens in the world. And I'm an independent candidate for U.S. Congress. I'm not affiliated with the Republican Party, and I'm not affiliated with the Democratic Party. I am independent. Yes. I am free as a bird. I can fly. No, I can't fly, but I'm just saying I can fly. It just feels good to say it, you know? You should say it. I can fly. It just kind of makes you feel good. He's looking at me. He's a bird, but he can't fly. He's an owl. Do owls fly? Do you fly? He's just looking at me. He's not saying anything. Do you know if owls fly? I thought somebody said owls fly. He's not saying anything. Harry's not telling me anything. Mom is the word. Yeah. So, so one of the things that I'm trying to do is make sure that you Christians out there, and I'm a born-again Christian, I'm Presbyterian, Korean Presbyterian, and my father is a Korean Presbyterian pastor. Both my grandfathers, mother's father, father's father, were Presbyterian pastors. They love the Lord. And we all believe the Bible is God's word. And so for me, Bible is important, but I feel like whistleblowing is important. There's so much corruption in U.S. Congress. There's so much corruption in U.S. Supreme Court, the legislative branch, and the judiciary branch. It's a problem. And hopefully there isn't corruption in U.S. executive branch with President Trump. But as I said, if President Trump supports LGBTQ rights, then let's all oppose President Trump. Yeah, so that, because I'm the anti-corruption guy, anyone who supports LGBTQ is corrupt by definition, because Romans chapter 1 clearly says it's evil and it's a crime. It should be treated like a crime, treated like a crime, treated like a crime, treated like a crime. Yeah, you know? And so, so I'm following the Bible. And I know many of you out there believe in Romans chapter 1. I know that many of you out there who are planning to vote for me, even though you're Democrat, even if you voted for Dunbar 2 years ago, I know you're planning to vote for me because you know, after reading the Bible during the time of COVID-19, when you had ample time to read the Bible and think about it, you have come to the conclusion that homosexuality is a crime. Homosexuality is a crime. Homosexuality is a crime. Yes, you have come to that conclusion. So you are going to vote for me because you know that is the right thing to do, to vote for Heerak Christian Kim, so that Heerak Christian Kim can go and clean up U.S. Congress. Yes, clean up U.S. Congress. Clean up U.S. Congress. And that's what you want me to do, and that's why you're going to vote for me. Yes, I'll go to U.S. Congress. I'll clean it up. Clean it up. Speak and stand clean. Clean. Cleaner than how Mr. Clean can make it clean. Yeah. So vote for me on November 3rd, 2020. And one of the reasons why it's important for us to illegalize LGBTQ is because the LGBTQ nation is dedicated to imprisoning every Christian in the United States of America who follows the Bible and wants to follow the Bible on Romans chapter 1. Look at Kim Davis, look at prison photo. She's treated like a criminal because she believes that gay people are condemned in the Bible, and then homosexuality is condemned in the Bible, and that God is against gay marriage. So the LGBTQ nation wants to put her in prison and throw her away the key. I bet the LGBTQ nation is trying to use muscle to try to throw Heerak Christian Kim in jail. I wouldn't be surprised because look at what they did. Look at what LGBTQ nation did to Kim Davis. So if they're going to do that to one of us, they're going to do it to all of us. All of you, me, all of us. Yes. And that's why we need to illegalize LGBTQ, because LGBTQ have declared war on Christian America. And Christian America is a Christian nation, and they think they're winning. They want to throw everyone who are loyal to the Word of God in prison, like Kim Davis. Look at that LGBTQ nation. Yeah, they're trying to throw us in prison, these LGBTQ people. And so this is a serious problem. And that's why that is my single most important issue, to illegalize LGBTQ in the United States of America, take away all of the LGBTQ rights under the law, and declare LGBTQ as crime against humanity, crime against the United States of America, crime against nature, as the Bible says. We just follow what the Bible says, and we are cool. Yes, because Jesus matters. And obviously, I also want to illegalize abortion. And so there is a National Pro-Life Alliance. We want to protect innocent baby lives. We don't want babies to be killed by Planned Parenthood or those feminists who want to destroy the rights of the babies so that they could have a selfish life. Yeah. And so murder is not justified because you just want another degree, or, you want to become wealthy, or, that's not an excuse to kill a baby. And so we want to illegalize abortion. And so, yes, we know we are living in COVID-19 reality right now. And in Brazil, there's like 1,000 dying per day. And in America, basically, we have 1,000 dying per day too. We're actually like number one, Brazil's number two. But I'm going to be bringing the Bible back to America. And you see the photo of America draped in America's flag and Bible kind of dominating there. And that's what I want, because it is in God we trust. And we put our hope on Jesus Christ, who died for us, and was resurrected from the dead, and he's now king. And so, for me, I want to defend your First Amendment right to say what you want. Yes, say what you want. You should have the right to say homosexuality is evil. You should have the right to say gay marriage is evil. You should have the right to oppose gay marriage and not be thrown into prison like Kim Davis. You have that right. And so I fight for your right. Yeah, so I'm independent. I'm not Republican. I'm not Democrat. I'm running as an independent. So vote for me, because I am going to shed light on the Republicans. I'm going to shed light on the Democrats. I'm going to end corruption. I'm going to end establishment corruption. So vote for me on November 3rd, 2020. Now, there are 3 articles that are important for you to know, because these 3 articles came into existence today and describes the reality of America from today or 24 hours yesterday to today. So this is the most recent news on COVID-19. And basically, I have 3 articles described being the top 3 states in the United States for COVID-19 cases in the last 24 hours. Let's look at article number 1. Record high of new coronavirus cases reported in California, more than 6,000 in a day. And that was in LA Times by in an article by Colleen Shelby. And a quote that is kind of relevant for us is, in Los Angeles County, officials on Tuesday reported more than 2,000 new cases for the 4th time in the last week, bringing the total number of infections to more than 88,200. So LA County is just the one small area in California, relatively speaking, and they had 2,000 cases per day for 4 days. Do you know why that is? Because of George Floyd protests. That's why I'm standing in front of George Floyd mural, just to remind you what happened a couple of weeks ago. And reporters asked questions from the protesters, are you afraid you're gonna get COVID-19? And you know what protesters said? It's worth it. Well, they said that then, and they got it now. So all these people who have protested for George Floyd, in San Francisco, we saw George Floyd protest in Golden Gate Bridge, right, on TV. And we've seen George Floyd protest in Hollywood, in Los Angeles. Look at all those people. That's a lot of people. It makes sense that 2,000 people are getting infected every day, or they're getting confirmed. I mean, they were infected then during the protest, but there's like the prodromal period, incubation period. You know, scientists really don't know what happens once you get contact with coronavirus, how long it takes for you to start feeling the symptoms. Scientists just don't know right now. It could be, you know, a day, it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month. Scientists just don't know. They're estimating it's like 14 days, but that's just a guesstimate, really. It's not even an estimate. It's more like a guesstimate. They're kind of guessing because they don't really know what COVID-19 does. Yeah, it's sad, but, you know, science is not perfect. They say 98% of the stuff in science, scientists don't know. They only know like 2%. You didn't know that, did you? Yeah, majority of the stuff, it's like big mystery and nobody knows. Yeah. That's why we're not God. We're human beings. We're finite human beings. Fake news try to act like they're God and they know everything. But fake news don't know. Only God knows everything. That's why we call God omniscient. We don't know anything, you know. Even scientists don't know anything. Look at how they're fumbling and stumbling across COVID-19. They don't know anything. Because we're human beings. We're not like God. We don't know everything. We have to like study everything in detail to even start learning about a little thing, you know? I mean, yeah. Yeah, so, yeah, it's sad, but I mean, I told you this, right? Those of you who've been watching me every day faithfully, thank you for being my faithful viewer. There are some of you who watch my show every day faithfully. You know that I have said, you can go to George Floyd protest, but be prepared to get COVID-19. I also say that about church, right? You go to church, but, you know, and sometimes it's worth getting COVID-19 or risk getting it. There are people who are going to get COVID-19. It's a virus. We are currently experiencing the wrath of God promised in Romans chapter 1 because of homosexuality, because LGBTQ. The wrath of God is all over America. And some Christians are going to suffer from it, you know, because once the day of the Lord starts, and you could read that in Hosea and Amos in the Bible, Jeremiah, Isaiah, once the day of the Lord starts, you can't stop it. You have limited time to repent and then God could turn back the wrath of God. But if you don't turn back before the day of God arrives, and if the day of God is here, then it's too late. That's where we are. It is too late. Yeah. So a lot of Christians are going to die because the wrath of God is already here. I mean, if we could have stopped it, if you listened to me and fought gay marriage, homosexuality, and LGBTQ rights, but you did not. No, you did not listen to me. More importantly, you did not listen to Romans chapter 1, the Bible that says you must oppose homosexuality. Homosexuality is an evil lifestyle. Paul talks about that all throughout the New Testament. You did not listen to St. Paul. How could you ignore the New Testament? So you deserve whatever you get, unfortunately, because at the end of the day, you have to be in tune with the will of God. So it's already here. Wrath of God or day of the Lord is already here. Christians, many Christians will die. Because did you fight gay rights? Did you fight LGBTQ publicly? Well, then you deserve the wrath of God by getting COVID and dying, right? Because I'm sorry to say, but Romans chapter 1 promises wrath of God, right? To you and your family if you don't, engage in opposition to homosexuality. That's found throughout the New Testament. That's found throughout the Old Testament, right? God punishes for homosexuality, and we know in Sodom and Gomorrah, God's punishment for homosexuality included punishment of believers who are tolerant or did not speak out. Because as we know, silence is guilt. Silence is violence. Silence is guilt. Silence is violence. Silence is guilt. Silence is violence. So if you didn't speak out against homosexuality, then you're silent and therefore you're guilty before God. So God has a right to punish you and your family with COVID-19 and then even, have you pass away through that. So it is justice of God because silence is violence. Silence is guilt. Silence is violence. Silence is guilt. Silence is violence. Silence is guilt. So if you're silent about homosexuality, then you're guilty before God. You must speak out against homosexuality. You must speak out against LGBTQ rights. See, you have to be a whistleblower. You have to have the courage to become a whistleblower of your congressman, of your county board members, of your city councilmen, city councilwomen, mayor. You have to be a whistleblower of them doing evil and supporting gay marriage, LGBTQ rights. If you don't have courage, you're going to be silent, and silence is guilt. Silence is violence. Silence is guilt. Silence is violence. Silence is guilt. Silence is violence. So those of you who are silent, you should be ashamed of yourself because you are guilty. Because silence is violence, silence is guilt. Yes. Haven't you been watching the TV? Silence. Silence is violence, silence is guilt. You may not agree with other things, but that one you should agree with. Because that's the principle in the Bible as well. As you know, in the Gospels, God says, what good is a lamp if you put it under the stand, right? You're supposed to put it over the stand. Yeah. So you know what Jesus said. Yeah. Ich liebe Deutschland. Do you like my hat? Ich liebe Deutschland. Deutschland is Germany. Ich liebe means I love. I love Germany. Have you been to Germany? Oh my gosh. Oh, Deutschland über alles. Oh, I'm kind of using my American tone. Germans will not say it like that because intonation is kind of important. Intonation is where you put the stress on the word. So they will probably say Deutschland über alles. Deutschland über alles. Germans who are like warriors, and even during the Roman Empire, the Roman Empire could not suppress the Germans. These Germanic tribes were roaring warriors. Even back then, 2,000 years ago, the Roman Empire, the Roman soldiers were scared of them, Yeah, they're tough people back then too, these Romans. I mean, the Germans, the Romans feared. But yeah, I love Germany. You know, I've lived in Germany. Um, and yeah, there's a lot about German culture I like. You know, Germany dominated in academic uh, scholarship for centuries. We're talking about centuries. Germany was dominant, like number one. Even now, in many ways, Germany is number one in many areas of scholarship. You know, it's just, yeah, Germans are just amazing. You know, there were warriors and, you know, they're scholars. I mean, geez, you know, and you know how beautiful German women are, you know, physically, you know, they have really, really good genes. You know, like, you know, there's a saying among men, like German women age well. So like when German women get old, they still look good. When I was living in Israel, everybody's like, Israeli women are really hot when they're like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. But once they pass 26, you know, skin starts to wrinkle and they turn really ugly. I mean, guys used to say that all the time in Israel. And I'm like, really? Eric Fries said that too. Eric, you could ask Eric. Eric Fries is my buddy from Israel, and he's now a professor at a community college in New York. I think it's like a Baruch College or one of these New York colleges. Eric Fries, Freas. His mother is Jewish, officer in U.S. Navy. His father is Presbyterian. And Eric decided to become a Christian. Hey, Eric! Eric Fries, Eric Fries. And Fries is actually, I think, a Dutch name. The father is Presbyterian. I think it's Scottish and Dutch blood. Because, you know, they're both Calvinists, Scottish and Dutch. Yeah, so Fries. Yeah, he married a nice girl, you know. Yeah, his wife is pretty. Yeah, but anyway, I know a lot of your secrets, Eric. We're really close friends in Israel, so yeah, we hung out together. We did a lot of things together. Eric and I, and our German guy from Leipzig, Frank Ludwig. So three of us, we drove from Greece in our friend Frank Ludwig. Ludwig's little Fiat Uno from Greece to Italy and all the way up to Germany because he had a Land Rover waiting for him in Germany. So we drove that little Fiat Uno and got into two accidents. One accident in Greece and then one accident in Rome. Yeah, like somewhere in Italy. Eric was holding onto the door because the door was falling apart. Yeah, you know, that's like a small little dinky car. And Frank is like really big guy. And Eric is kind of tall as well because he has that Dutch side to him. So he was tall and, you know, so three of us fitting into that little Fiat Uno, having two car accidents. It was ridiculous. But it was fun though. It was a lot of fun. And I guess it was Eric's friend Sylvia who put us up in her apartment in Rome. So we had a good time hanging out, eating dinner outside and spending some time. We should have probably gone dancing, but Sylvia was a little late. She was a little old, I think. She was like 28 or something. And, you know, I think she was like, you know, I mean, you know, they slow down, you know, after 26, women slow down. They can't keep up with you. You know, like when I was in at Cambridge, you know, I used to go dancing sometimes like 5 days in a row, you know, from 10 a.m. to like 2 a.m., 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. because bars close at 2 a.m. for some reason in England. So yeah, like in Germany, you could dance till like 8 a.m. But in England, you could only dance till like 2 a.m. So yeah, so I went and, you know, like 4 or 5 nights in a row, dancing for 4 hours. These 18-year-olds could not keep up. I mean, you know, I'm like, geez, keep up. And they're beautiful, but they couldn't keep up. Yeah. Oh, well, you know, what can you do? Nobody's perfect. Only God's perfect. But I come very close for women. I'm still single. As you can see, I have no ring. I think Germans wear their ring on the right-hand side. I don't know. They were telling me like Catholics wear their ring on the right hand. And I see all the Catholics in America, they wear their ring on the left finger. But like my German friends in Germany, they said, well, yeah, Catholics wear their wedding on the right finger. Like, doesn't it confuse you? Like if Catholics wearing the right finger and Lutherans wearing in the left finger? But anyway, I'm not married. I'm showing you both fingers. So I'm looking for a good Christian woman. But the fundamental requirement is you have to be beautiful. I am shallow. Most men are, but they lie about it. But I'm the anti-corruption, transparency, honest candidate. So I'm not going to lie to you. I want to marry a very beautiful woman. Um, as you've seen in my photos, I date very beautiful women. Um, yeah, so ideally, I will marry a woman who is like Miss Virginia. Did I tell you I had a uh, I don't know if I should tell you this because it's a little sensitive. I guess I'm the transparency candidate, so I guess I should tell you. I know a Miss Virginia. Yeah, she's Korean. So, but I didn't know her when she was that older. So I knew her when she was, no, actually, I think she was Miss Maryland. Yeah, I think we visited her family in Maryland. Do you know why? Because I'm talking about my family vacation, my father, my mother, me, and my two younger sisters. Because I remember we had one bucket, like big, like it's more like a keg full of Maryland crab, marinated crab. It was so amazingly good. So I think she was Miss Maryland, not Miss Virginia. Because I remember, did they move to Virginia? She's either Miss Maryland or Miss Virginia when she got older. But I saw her when she was like 12 and I was like 13. So, I was like, what grade is that? Like, I was, I guess I was in middle school. And so I saw her. She was really pretty back then too. She's a Korean girl. There are some Korean women who are amazingly beautiful. Yeah, I mean, geez. Did I tell you about the Chinese girl that I saw at UC Berkeley? She was like in the track team. She was like a freshman at Stanford when I was a freshman at University of Pennsylvania. And I was madly in, I guess you can't really say love. It could be like love at first sight. I was madly in love with her because she had such a beautiful body and beautiful face. And she was so smart. She was at Stanford. Um, and I wanted to have her as my girlfriend. So I'm making moves. And I think I talked about this in another episode like several weeks ago. And Alice Sim Jung-yi, who became my girlfriend, blocked me. She literally blocked me by like coming and standing next to me and grabbing onto my arm. Yeah. Yeah. It was like me, my friend, Alice, and this Chinese girl who I call like earthly goddess Diana, the Chinese goddess Diana, amazingly beautiful. Um, yeah, and I think she kind of liked me too. I think like if we hooked up then, I bet we would have gotten married. I'm, I don't know, but actually, I fell in love with Alice though, which is ironic because when I saw Alice for the first time, Jiyoung, I'm like, man, that girl's ugly. But when we start dating, I was like, wow, she's beautiful. I'm like, how did that happen? So I'm like trying to mentally understand what's going on, right? Because I remember my first impression of Alice Sim, and she's like a Samsung billionaire. Her father's like CEO of one of the Samsung brand, one of the Samsung companies. And I was looking at her, and I was like, wow, well, she's really ugly. I'm like, um, that was my first impression. But once we start dating, I was like, wow, she's so pretty. I miss her so much. And it was a weird feeling, what happened? Something like happened. I don't know what happened. So, yeah, it was the weirdest experience in my life. I still don't quite understand what happened. But I remember feeling that. I remember my first impression, and I remember like how I was feeling when we were dating. So it's the weirdest thing in the world. Anyway, yeah, she went back to Korea because her father is a CEO of Samsung company, and I went back to Philly, and then Yeah, oh well, what can you do? Things happen. Um, yeah, but anyway, yeah, I've dated quite a number of billionaires in my life. Um, yeah, but she may be like the ugliest billionaire I've dated. I mean, the problem is this: like once I started dating her, I thought she was beautiful. So I don't know. I mean, I can't say she's ugly because I thought she was beautiful, right? But my first impression was like she's ugly. I don't know. Maybe she put a spell on me. I don't know. But yeah, her skin was so nice and soft. And she used to put her head on my belly and look up and say, "I love your belly." And like, I think she damaged for me for life because I had no desire to lose my belly after that. I went dating when we were both 17, you know. She was like just graduated from international school in Seoul, and I was, you know, like first year, you know, student at University of Pennsylvania. Anyhow, yeah. Let's go to the second article. Um, 5,489 new COVID-19 cases. Texas reports all-time daily high. It's an NPR article by Bill Chappell. And the significant quote is, Texas is facing a steep, terrifying rise in COVID-19 hospitalizations and intensive care unit admissions at the Texas Medical Center, which is the biggest medical center in the world. Uh, said Dr. Peter Hotez, Dean of National School of Tropical Medicine at Baylor College of Medicine. And look at the photograph next to it, the big protest for George Floyd in Houston. Yes, that's why. All these George Floyd protests are now translating into COVID-19 cases. I said that's what's going to happen, right? You heard me say it. So because you know, COVID-19 is a killer virus. It's not like, oh, we respect George Floyd, so we're not going to infect you. No, that's not what COVID-19 is going to say. COVID-19 is that's going to say California knows how to party. California knows how to party. That's what COVID-19 are going to say. They're going to be partying it up when people are gathered and infecting as many people as possible. And that's why we have these thousands of cases, over 6,000 in California, because all those thousands of people went to George Floyd marches. Of course, they're going to get infected. I mean, it's a killer virus, for God's sake. Its purpose for existing is to infect and kill people. And Texas, almost 6,000, right? 5,489. That's all from George Floyd protests. Why do you think I have this George Floyd mural behind me to remind you what I've said, right? You can fight for what you want, but you have to suffer for your belief. It's like me. You know, it's like Kim Davis. I am the candidate who's going to bring America back to God. And as I said, my campaign promise is if you vote for me and vote me into U.S. Congress, priority number one is to illegalize gay marriage. Priority number two is to illegalize abortion, right? And the priority number three is equity stuff that I want to do. Yeah, so So, you know, priorities are there. God comes first before people, right? And the Bible says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul. That is the greatest commandment. And the second greatest commandment is love your neighbors as yourself, right? The second greatest commandment, not the first greatest commandment. So I'm going to fulfill the first greatest commandment first by illegalizing homosexuality and abortion. And then I'll go to the equity stuff because humans come second to God. Yeah, I mean, you know, Bible, you know, has an order for a reason. You know, you don't go to the people first, you go to God first. Yeah, so Texas is running out of ICUs. Texas is running out of hospitals. People are going to die in Texas. Texas, you're going to die. California, you're going to die. What can you say? What can you say? You know, California, Texas, what can you say? It's an emergency out there in California and Texas. It's an emergency. Jawohl. Yeah. Ah. Do you know, remember the commercial from BMW, Fair Nugel? That's not actually a real German word, my German friends tell me. It's a made up word by BMW. Nice cars. I love the BMW 5 Series. That's like my car, like my gentleman car. And I think like my, if I could, I mean, I think my gentleman car would be like BMW 5 Series. Um, and I guess, my like sporty car would be like Porsche 928. And my toy car would be like Lamborghini, the one that's like $2.7 million. Just have that to drive around for show. And yeah, none of this like clean air stuff. Those cars can't. I never get an Elon Musk car. They look so dorky. Sorry, Elon. I mean, I think he graduated from University of Pennsylvania, so we're fellow alumni of University of Pennsylvania. So I shouldn't dish his car, but I don't know. The whole concept of like an ecologically efficient car sounds dorky to me. you know, Real cars drive on carbon emission gasoline. Just joking. I'm just joking. Why are you looking at me like that? Look at this. Look at the way Harry's looking at me. He's looking at me with those judgment eyes. He's like judging me for saying I like carbon emission cars. You know how much gasoline Corvette takes? Do you know what a Corvette is? Oh man, that's like the greatest car that was made in America. Corvette, yes. Corvette is the greatest car in America. It's like 8-cylinder car, and it's like a gas guzzler. It's like you go a few blocks and you have to refill it up. But that car can go, It looks slick. It can go from 0 to 60 in a blitzkrieg, like the way Germany invaded Poland. And sorry, my Polish friends. I should use that example. I love my Polish friends. Do you remember my show, Bachelor in Poland? You have to go see that show. You're gonna love that show. All my bachelorettes, they're so beautiful and they're so nice. Oh my gosh, I miss my bachelorettes in Poland. I mean, we need a follow-up episode. I'm still single. So, but anyway, hopefully maybe I'll meet like some beautiful, amazing woman in this area, and then we'll hook up and we'll become a couple and get married and have a lot of wonderful like children together. Yeah. Hopefully I marry somebody really beautiful and my children all look like her. Just the girl stuff. I want the guys to look like me. But anyway, yeah. The third article is June 23rd, 2020. It's from CNBC, cable NBC, the TV station. It's by Noah Higgins Dunn. And the title was Arizona reports record single day increase in coronavirus cases ahead of Trump visit. So Trump is visiting and holding a rally in Arizona. And Arizona is number 3 with over 36,000 cases. So let's look at the quote. The Arizona Department of Health reported nearly 3,600 additional COVID-19 cases on Tuesday. That's today, election day in Virginia for primaries. Republican Senate primaries, I think, is today. I think there are several other primaries today. I sent in an absentee ballot a while ago. Hopefully my candidate wins, but let's see. I'm looking at I kind of gave it away because I went on St. Patrick's Day parade and I put on his hat and stuff. So people know who I voted for, I mean, no offense to everyone else, but I mean, I don't wear people's stuff unless I'm going to vote for them, Yeah. But anyway, the St. Patrick's Day parade was so fun. Yeah, that was like just before everything started closing down. What's memories. And it seems like we're not going to have another one of those again because you see all this COVID-19 going now. World Health Organization is like, it's the worst COVID-19 confirmed case day in the history of COVID-19. It was like yesterday or day before yesterday. And like, look at America now. It's like, my gosh, we are officially in the second peak. The second peak's gonna probably look worse than the first peak. Look at all those people crowded together in George Floyd protest. Geez, no wonder all these thousands of people are getting sick. So I'm predicting that a lot of people in Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., Maryland will come down with COVID-19. They'll start showing little signs. They'll start showing signs, and then it's going to get worse. And some of them will have to end up in hospital, and our hospital is getting overwhelmed. That's coming in the next, week or 2 or 3. Yeah, just wait and see. I mean, yeah, it's happening. Yeah, because people don't always go to hospital when they feel sick. They wait around a little bit. So that's why they wait to get tested. But you should go get tested so that you know that you don't have it. Yeah, so June 23rd, 2020, CNBC article by Noah Higgins-Dunn. The important quote there is, the Arizona Department of Health reported nearly 3,600 additional COVID-19 cases. Yeah, I know I'm reading it again, but I think it's important to read it again. I'm worried about Arizona because, the Arizona Republicans seem to be going the wrong direction. You have to stand against LGBTQ, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer. You have to stand against that. That's what God requires in Romans chapter 1. And Arizona Republicans seem a little bit shaky, and it concerns me. But yeah, because at the end of the day, only thing that matters is God. Are you right with God, or are you not right with God, right? That's important while you live in this earth, but it's more important when you die, because when you die, you're going to stand before the judgment seat of God, and God's going to judge you based on the word of God, and then it's going to determine your eternal fate, whether you go to eternal life in heaven or if you go to eternal life in hell. Everybody's going to have eternal life. Somebody's going to spend it in heaven. Somebody's going to spend it in hell. Yeah. So hopefully all of you will go to heaven. But Phoenix, have big marches as well. You see the picture there, defund Phoenix police. So that explains why we have thousands of COVID-19 in Arizona. And we're gonna get more and more cases because there were a lot of people who marched. And it's been like what, a week, 2 weeks ago. So the incubation period, it may take longer. We don't know, the exact process and timing of how COVID latches onto the human body. We just don't know how that all works. But yeah, I think it's safe to say the numbers of COVID-19 was skyrocket in Virginia, Maryland, and DC as well. And that's all coming. So you should start preparing for that. If I were you, I would, get stuff that I need. I got extra toilet paper just in case. But yeah, stock up on stuff because you know what happens once like the rush begins, you can't get anything. So it's better to get everything now when you can. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad that you stopped by today. Yeah, I created this show to save you and your family from COVID-19 and everything that's happening. Obviously, I warn you before it happens. I tell you, if you're going to go to these marches, you're going to risk getting COVID-19 unless you wear a mask, not talk to anybody at all. But, a lot of people break that rule and start talking to each other in the protest. You can even if you just have someone breathe on you, you can still get COVID, They don't even have to talk to you. So you got to wear a mask. And mask is only like what? If you have like a cloth mask that protects you at 30, 40%. If you have one of more professional masks, it protects you at 70, 80%. It's not foolproof. So you can still get COVID while wearing the mask. But anyway, yeah, so the only foolproof is like staying home by yourself. Don't invite any of your friends. That's why, the rates went tremendously down during stay-at-home period, but now it's going up. Yeah, it's a virus. It's going to spread when you talk to people, when you breathe on people, when people breathe on you, you're going to get it. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll keep you updated tomorrow. So make sure you check back tomorrow because a lot of interesting things are happening now. I mean, all these shockingly high cases are going to eventually end up in death. Probably 1 to 2 weeks or 1 to 3 weeks from now, you're going to see death rates sharply rise. And it's possible that California will have 1,000 deaths per day. Texas will have 1,000 deaths per day. And Arizona could have 1,000 deaths per day. Let's see. I mean, these are all scientifically possible scenarios. And hopefully these things won't happen, but it can happen. Based on science, I am predicting that 1,000 Americans will die by end of August. And we're going to hit a milestone during summer where 10,000 people are dying per day. Because we got up to like 4,000 to 5,000 deaths per day in April. But I think this time it's much more serious than in April or March. So I think we can expect to see much higher deaths in the summer than in the spring. But, you know, hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. So you check back tomorrow. I'll give you more data and information that you need to survive COVID-19 for yourself and your family. And make sure you go back to the Bible. At the end of the day, spiritually speaking, God is in control. And if you're not right with God, it's not a good thing, you know, because God is in control and God is in the punishment mode. He's just doling out punishment after punishment for gay marriage laws in America. And those who've been silent are being punished, you know. And as you know, now that 20-year-olds are getting COVID-19, I'm afraid that like a lot of nurses will die. And the clinical portion for the summer is starting. Although we none of us have practicum. Practicum is like one-to-one training, and I wanted to do it in the ICU, in the intensive care unit. But there's like a month of clinical that Georgetown University Nursing was able to procure in nearby hospitals. And we have to sign a waiver saying that if we die from COVID, we're not going to blame the university or the hospital. I just could not sign the waiver because I felt like the waiver was unfair. Because he said, you know, COVID-19 is very dangerous. And if you die, then you're not going to blame the university. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Hey, you know, whenever people want you to sign a waiver that is so, it's like prenuptial agreement. Oh, like when you marry me, you're going to get nothing when you get divorced. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There's some prenuptial agreements that has to be changed. I mean, you should get divorced, but, you know, if you're going to have a prenup, obviously you don't want a prenup where you say, when we get divorced, I leave with nothing. You know, that's like stupid. So in the same sense, this waiver that Georgetown University wanted us to sign in order to participate in, you know, clinicals had this legal language that, you know, and I don't think this is any secret because, you know, it's a waiver document, it's a public document. So I'm sure I can talk about it. We're not talking about you know, secret, right? It's a public document. Contracts are public documents, right? That, you know, anybody can see. And so I could talk about it. And so, yeah. So the fact that, you know, it's a waiver form and the waiver basically waives rights to everything. I just, you know, I told my clinical professor, Anissa, about it. You know, I just don't feel that it's a fair document, fair contract, because it's like saying, you know, if you die, you know, you give up rights. And one phrase like bothered me, and that is like, if you get sick with COVID, then you have to pay for all your medical treatments. And I'm like, so I go to the hospital to work at a hospital with COVID-19 patients, patients who may have COVID-19. And if I get COVID-19 because my patients have it for some reason, and I get sick, so sick that I need like blood transfusions, oh, we're gonna have blood transfusion sim online. That's gonna be really cool. Our sim lab director, Nurse Kelly, she's great. She's awesome. We got to see her on Monday. We had like a cohort meeting, Clinical Nurse Leader 2020 cohort meeting on Zoom on Monday. So we got to see Kelly. It was so nice to see her again, because like, we're all like on Zoom. So we see the professors that we see regularly, we see them, but we don't see anyone else. So, and we haven't seen Kelly for a long time because like after spring break, we weren't able to go back to Georgetown University, right? And so generally we see Kelly every day when we're like walking around the clinical area. She's always there. She's like Mama Bear, she's there in clinical. She's like the director of Sim Lab. So she's always there, kind of like being a Mama Bear, like helping with the nursing students. So everybody knows Nurse Kelly. But because the campus is closed, the Mama Bear is not in the Sim Lab anymore. So yeah, but she showed up yesterday, on Monday, yesterday. We got to see her. It was really nice, and we're gonna do a blood transfusion simulation because right now there's COVID. So I'm really excited about that. So I signed up for my slot next week. Everybody had to sign up for their slot, and there's like 7 people in one slot. So hopefully I get like really cool people. I mean, I have to say all 24 people, like plus me, 25, all of us are 25, but all 24 people, like people besides me, in my clinical nurse leader cohort 2020, they're all really cool. So I like all of them. So I can't go wrong. But being a human being, there are some that I like a little bit more than others. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Parents say I love everybody, all my children equally. You should lie to your children and say that, I guess. Although it's technically wrong to lie, so you should probably repent after you lie. But it's hard. I don't know. Will I lie to my kids? I probably will. Like because you don't love everybody equally. Come on, let's be honest here. You could cognitively deceive yourself to believe that you love everybody equally, in which case it's not technically a lie. But yeah, so the main point is I love all my cohort members. I love you guys. I love you guys. But there are some that you love a little more. I mean, but if people ask you to say I love everybody equally. Well, actually, I did admit like Ying Fu is my best buddy, so I guess I did set her apart from everyone. Oh well, you can't like put the spilled milk back, as the saying goes, right? Is that the saying? I think the German saying is a little bit different from that. Like each country has like little twist on words that's a little bit different. Deutschland über alles. Deutschland über alles. Deutschland über alles. Deutschland über alles. Yeah. Anyway, I love Deutschland. I've showed you photos from Mallorca, Palma de Mallorca in Spain, the German paradise. I go there. Yeah, I try to go there as often as I can, and then party with the Germans. Oh my gosh, Germans know how to party. Like they're intense when they're at work or at research. But when they're partying, they party like it's 1999. I mean, geez, my gosh, they party so hard. I mean, I feel like Germans can keep up with me. Like, yeah, I think Germans can keep up with me. I have to say, out of all the people that I party with, Germans can keep up with me. They know how to party. They have stamina. Oh my gosh, I mean. I miss Germany. I miss German people, especially German women. Oh well. When will I think Parma de Mallorca is open now, but I mean, geez, I mean, with COVID-19 festering, it's like going to be like COVID-19 island. I mean, no offense to people who are headed there, but yeah. But anyway, yeah. We're glad that you were able to join me in my show. I gotta congratulate my core members because we're finished in August. We're like a month away from leaving Georgetown, and all of us are so eager to go and start working, as nurses. So, yeah, but I guess I should finish my story. So with the waiver form, which is like a contract form, right? I just couldn't sign it because like you never know what's going to happen to you. Like let's say I get COVID-19 from a patient, and if I sign this waiver, and then I need like blood transfusions, or if my blood starts to coagulate and I get stroke, and I get like paralyzed in half of my body, this waiver document is saying like, I get nothing. So I get paralyzed in my half of my body for the rest of my life, and I get nothing because I'm signing this waiver. I'll be like handicapped for life through blood coagulation through COVID-19, because that happens to some young people, right, in their 20s. I'm a little bit older than that, but it happens to people. And if I get stroke and get paralyzed in half of my body, I'm going to get nothing out of this because I'm signing this waiver. If I didn't sign this waiver and go to a hospital, worked, and I got COVID-19 and I had a stroke from COVID-19 and I'm paralyzed half of my body, I go to Georgetown University for negligence, right? Or I could find something and maybe able to get a few $1 million that will allow me to subsist and survive as basically a crippled guy, half the body not functioning for the rest of my life, right? And with the money that you win from the court, you could kind of do something else maybe. I'm not saying I'm planning to get stroke and be paralyzed in half of my body, but it's one of those things that can happen from COVID. So, like, if you sign that waiver, you get nothing. You could become homeless and paralyze half in your body. And I'm like, I don't want to take that risk. Georgetown is being so unfair, they're just saying like, you get nothing if you get sick, if you become disabled or handicapped or die from COVID as a result of getting it at this hospital through clinic, you get nothing. I'm like, how can you sign that kind of document? It's just because I believe in equity. So for me, and I told this to my clinical nurse leader, Anissa, I said, I can't sign a document that is so unfair, unfair, it's not equitable. I'm the equity guy, right? I want people to have their healthcare needs met. And this document is saying, we're not going to pay for any of your healthcare needs arising from COVID-19 infection whatever procedures you need, we're not going to pay for it. And the insurance doesn't cover everything, because you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know how it's going to manifest itself in the body. So I said, I can't sign that document. So I told Anissa, my clinical nursing instructor, she's an amazing person. I really love her. I don't know her that well because she's like new, but what I know of her so far, we've had her as our instructor for like a month. She's amazing, and so all of us, I can't speak for other people. I like her a lot. So yeah. So I think everybody likes her, that's my feeling. But we're like all on Zoom now, so we don't really have a chance to talk about things casually. Like when you're like in a clinical setting, you talk about all kinds of stuff casually. But like when you're on Zoom, you're like, maybe like someone's recording me. So you don't want to say anything because you don't know who's recording, because you could get like you could record, somebody may be recording on their phone or whatever. It's awkward. Maybe nobody's recording anything, but you don't never know. So you can't really like just put your guard down and start speaking, because people may be recording your little screen with your mouth moving, and whatever you say will be used against you in the court of law. You know what they say, and now it's recorded, it's evidence. Like they submit it in the court of law. So like, I see all my clinical nurse leader buddies like being very careful about what they say, because they know they're like a little screen, and anybody could record them, with their camera phone or whatever. So everybody's like really careful about what they say. But I guess, we live in a new reality where there's no privacy, no secrets. And, geez, if they record things that you say and you say something horrible, we're liable for that legally. But anyway, I didn't want to sign the waiver because I felt like it doesn't follow the principle of health equity that I want to espouse for not only myself, but for, people in the society. Because I believe that there should be equity in healthcare. So, this is my personal opinion. You can disagree with me. I have my First Amendment right to share my views, and you have the First Amendment right to have your own views and share them. But, and obviously, if you don't like sharing my views, you can always turn this thing off. You don't have to watch this thing if you don't want to watch it or you're offended by it, right? You have the freedom to turn it off. So, just practice your freedom to turn it off if you don't like what I'm saying. But Yeah, I mean, so basically, for me, I just could not sign this document because, you know, one of the things that we learned at Georgetown University that kind of stuck with me is they say you have to take care of yourself as a nurse so that you could take care of your patients. More than one professor has said this, and I remember Professor Nolan saying that several times. And I've heard Professor Kelly Anderson say that, and I've heard that being said by Professor Granito. Uh, and these are amazing nursing professors who practiced nursing for decades. And so they've seen, what happens to nurses, and they know what's important, in nursing. And so I appreciate them sharing their wisdom. And one thing that I took to my heart is nurses have to take care of themselves so that they could take care of the patients effectively, and so I feel like, when we're talking about health equity, uh, we also have to think about health equity, not just for, vulnerable population or other people or poor people, but we got to think about health equity for ourselves. You know, I feel like, you cannot just ignore yourself and become like a healthcare martyr, and then like, take all the abuse, and then, that's okay. It's not okay. You have to take care of yourself first. And so personally saying, I'm not saying that everybody should believe this, just personally for myself, I feel like the waiver document represents health inequities that goes against my ethical value system in healthcare. So I think that healthcare should be equitable and healthcare delivery should be equitable. So I just cannot sign that document. One, because I don't think it's an equitable contract. It's not an equitable document. And number two, I mean, I can get COVID, and I don't mind getting COVID, but the problem is once I get COVID, anything could happen, and I need to know that I'll be taken care of financially, healthcare wise. If I suffer disability for life, like by being paralyzed on half of my body because of a stroke that I get because of a new strain of COVID that's like going around young people right now, I need to know that I'll be taken care of. And so in this sense, I'm kind of bringing together what Professor Nolan said and Professor Granito, Professor Anderson, and other nursing professors have kind of shared with us about the importance of nurses having to take care of themselves, with other kind of principles in public health nursing, which Professor Lorraine Spesser shared, you know, about upstream, downstream, and I think this is a relevant issue in this context. And what Professor Elizabeth Schloss, she's so nice, she's so smart. I mean, geez, I think she's like 1 in a billion because she's so smart and she's so nice. And she's like a great nurse. I'm like, oh, thank God she's my nursing professor. All the nursing professors at Georgetown are really amazing. But there are some who are like kind of stick. I mean, they all are great, I want to say. But yeah, but anyway, yeah. But anyway, yeah, so I feel like, I just, so I decided to sit this one out because of that. And it's like a month clinical, and Billy and Grant are sitting out too, so I don't feel so bad. We're the three guys. They have their reasons. Billy has his reasons. Grant is actually in South Carolina. He was like, I will drive before clinical day. I'm like, how many hours is that from South Carolina? He was going to drive all the way up from South Carolina and then have clinical here and then drive back, like every clinical. I was like, man, that sounds crazy. So I'm so glad that Grant decided just, to sit this one out because I don't want him to get into a car accident, Because, 25 of us, we're like a family. And I would be worried sick that like Grant would be driving and then get into a car accident because he falls asleep in the wheel and die. How tragic would that be? I mean, 2 years of intensive nursing and you die in a car accident before you even start practicing as a clinical nurse leader. I mean, that's like, that would be like the saddest story in the world. So I was like worried about him, and I didn't say anything to him because I wanted him to practice autonomy do whatever you want. But if we were not in Zoom, but like just like at Georgetown, I guess it wouldn't be an issue if you were all at Georgetown. But I was like concerned about him. I was worried about him. And so I'm happy that he decided just not to drive, to clinic from South Carolina and drive back. I mean, geez. Yeah, so thank God he's not going to die of a car accident in I-95. But anyway, you could fall asleep on the wheel. I mean, that nursing clinic was, they could be pretty intense, and so. But anyway, so all the guys are sitting it out, Grant and Billy and me, and yeah, and I mean, once you start working as a nurse, then you have workers' comp. I don't know if you know what workers' comp is, but if you get injured at work, or you get sick at work, then you kind of provided for, like, your healthcare treatments are 100% paid for, so you don't have to pay even a penny. And so let's say you're a nurse and you get COVID-19, and that develops into a stroke and you get paralyzed half the body, you could use your workers' comp, and then they will take care of all your healthcare treatments and pay, needs until you die. And also, I think you could also sign up for some kind of disability thing too, I think, once you start working. So I think it's a little bit different when you're not working, like we're students, So if you become disabled as a student, I don't think you have the benefits that you would get if you become disabled while working, And so I don't mind getting COVID, but I do need to make sure that everything is in place to take care of people when they get sick, right? And obviously, as nurses, we need to take care of ourselves. That's what Professor Nolan, Professor Granito, and Professor Anderson taught us. And so, I take that to heart. And so, yeah, so I think once you start working as a nurse, you have all these insurances that will, like, provide for you if something happens. But as a student, there's a risk. And, if there isn't a waiver document, you could always sue the hospital where you're doing the clinical, or you could sue the university to get the enough payment to survive. I mean, you're not making a fortune, but enough to, like, survive as a disabled person the rest of your life, But if you sign a waiver, you can't even sue for that. So you could be, like, homeless and paralyzed in half of your body and die in the street, I'm being overly over dramatic maybe, but I mean, that's a theoretical possibility. Because COVID-19 does induce strokes on people. So yeah, I mean, so that's why I'm sitting it out. And once I start working, all the insurance is there, workers' comp is there, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. Just do the work. So, but anyway, yeah, I want all transparency. As you know, I'm talking about transparency. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I feel like it's a social justice issue that should be discussed. It's kind of like, should basketball players get paid if they play basketball? I guess it's like a debate like that, similar to that. But it's more serious than that, because you work as a nurse, in the clinical, and then you could get exposed to COVID-19. You're putting yourself at risk knowingly. And if you get it, you kind of want something there to protect you and pay for healthcare services. You know what I'm saying? I think it's not illogical for me to say that. And there are millionaires and billionaires who can obviously pay out of pocket, so it's not an issue. But I'm not a billionaire or millionaire, so it's an issue for me. I'm just an average Joe trying to make a world a better place. I borrowed $200,000 for this program. And with 30 years of interest at it, that's like $500,000 I have to pay back in the next 30 years. Yeah. Maybe I should, like, look for a billionaire to marry, like Alice Sim. Jiangyi, Xin Jiangyi. Yeah. I don't know. I want to help people, and so I've been that's been my focus. I guess I should worry about money. I don't know. I mean, money is I don't know. Money doesn't interest me that much. Money is like, it's there, it's good, it can do good. But some people get really serious about money, like my friends from Wharton. They're like millionaires, multimillionaires. They're like really serious about money. You know, I just can't relate. But anyway, because I just want to help people. So yeah. Um, anyway, yeah. So yeah, so just expect a lot of people to get it. But although I'm sitting out 1 month, so you may not see me in the hospital during that 1 month because I'm still a student, but I'm interviewing for nursing jobs. So I'll start working in August. So you will see me as a clinical nurse leader working in the unit and helping you. And I'll have workers' comp and all the insurance policies as an employee of that hospital. So, so you'll see me, helping you with reckless abandon, But anyway, well, thanks for joining the show, and I will provide you with more helpful information tomorrow and in coming days. It's going to be critical. Don't you feel it now? Do you feel it? It's going to be like intense. It's going to be an intense week. With all these spiking COVID cases, maybe some of the states will start having spiking deaths. Don't you feel like that's going to happen like this week? It's like either this week or next week, right? So, you feel that, right? And so this week is a very critical week where our history as a nation may shift in a radical different way because of the new reality of COVID-19, which seems to put us in a worse situation than we were in March, which means we'll obviously have cataclysmic tragedy that's far greater than March to May that could happen from June to August. So yeah, you should watch this show tomorrow. Make sure all your family members, adult children, and your parents and cousins, uncles watch this show. Tell your friends, your neighbors, because you have to be informed. And unfortunately, CNN is not giving you all the information. Fox News is not giving you all the information. You're not getting everything that you should get from the traditional news channels, or what I call like fake news. Yeah, so yeah, tune in here because I'll give you a comprehensive overview of what you definitely need to know to survive COVID-19. And I also provide you with expert analysis from multidisciplinary approach. As you know, I'm an expert of Jewish history. I'm an expert of education. I'm an expert of healthcare, public health. And I'm doing my master's at Georgetown, finishing up. So by definition, I'm an expert, right? And so, yeah, I'm kind of approaching this from different levels of expertise. So you do, need to check in to be sure that you get the information that you need right now. So you just watch this show, just log on, watch, and then, yeah. And you could watch over dinner or, just watch, as an educational thing that you need to survive. Kind of think of yourself as like MacGyver. You need the tools to survive, and I'm going to give you the tools, I'm the Leonardo da Vinci of 21st century. There's like only one of me come around the world in 500 years. So obviously you need to watch this show. I've been consistently right in this show, even when greatest experts and Nobel Prize winning scientists were wrong. So you should definitely watch this show because the natural world is a complex world. And in a complex situation like this, excuse me, there's a higher chance that I'm more right than a scientist who's just looking at it from the angle of science. So, but anyway, I'm here to save you and your family. So tune in tomorrow. And Deutschland über alles. I don't sound, Germans actually have a deeper voice. I'm Korean, what can I say, But I love Germany. Say, hug a German for me. Oh, don't hug anybody. I forgot it's COVID-19. Like just like Air 5, German, if you see them. Yeah. Or better yet, just kind of like say hello on Zoom. So nobody gets infected with COVID. Anyway, yeah. So I'll see you tomorrow. I hope that you will be well today to tomorrow and that your family will be well as well. So see you tomorrow. Bye.